Hi everybody, my name's Paul Murphy and I've got a passion for hats.
I'm pretty excited today because I've just got another hat through, and it's a Borsalino, and I very much like the Borsalino brand, Italian of course. This is one of their very lightweight. I think it's a 50-gram weight. I mean, 50 grams in fell, it's like a feather really. Very well made. When it was packaged, unfortunately, it was all scrunched up. But then I learned that actually this is one that you can actually pop out and roll up. So if you pop it inside out and you center it, if you like, and fold it in half, you can actually roll it up. There we go. And it's got a wind cord on it, so you can put that round it and you can pop it in your pocket. So what I'm going to do is take this through to the hat room, and it doesn't look as though it needs a great deal of work on it. I think it's probably dusty, and it could do with a good steaming to bring it back to life again. But the interesting thing is that these Borsalinos, even though they're so light and they scrunch up, they really come back to a lovely shape. So let's go and see if this one will do the same. Here we are, we're in the hat room, but I wanted to briefly apologise because my voice is sounding very deep at the moment because I've got a problem with allergies, and actually I found myself hospitalised this last weekend. Anyway, that's all right, I'm absolutely fine now, but the medication that I've got is clearing it all up, but my voice has been coming and going. So I realise it's been a while since I've done a video on YouTube, so I wanted to get this one up and done. So we've got the Borsalino hat here, and the first thing I want to do to it is actually stretch it out on one of our blocks. So I tend to use a smaller block than the actual size, and this one, looking inside the hat there, it says it's a 59. Now a 59 for a Borsalino is usually a 58 or so. They're a little bit smaller than the general hat, and I've just noticed the wind cord has come undone, but I can sort that out in a minute. Anyway, what I'm going to do is stretch this over this block, and the reason for doing that is, one, I can get some shape into the hat, and see that goes down there really quite nicely, doesn't it? And two, I've then got something to push against when I come to give it a brush. So as usual, I'm going to get some tape and give it a quick run over to get rid of the any dust particles and bits that are on the hat. I mean, this one, I've given it a bit of shake out actually before bringing it in here, so I'm not really expecting there to be too much on there, but just for the sake of the camera, I'll go over it, and you can see, well, you might be able to see that the colour changes slightly when you start to do this sort of removal of the excess sort of fluff and felt. Can you see all of that sort of greeny, bluey felt that's coming off? And that's just taking off the old dusty felt bits and actually brightening the colour, to be fair. And when we put some steam on there in just a moment, after I've given it a bit of a brush, you'll see it come up even more. So it's really nice. I find this very rewarding actually. And you know, if you've got an old hat, it's well worth putting the time in and doing this. And you know, even if you haven't got a block, you can use a kitchen bowl or something, as long as the wife allows you, of course. Now, there we are. And then we take it off the stand. You see there, I'm just going to run it around the base of the felt here. And this will just give it a bit more structure as well, because the dust gets in between the fibres, and then it sort of does its damage and adheres to it. So again, some more come off. Let's put that back on the stand. Now I'm going to, before I put some steam on it, I'm going to take the brush, and if you recall, I've got two brushes with three finishes. So I've got a very stiff, a medium, and a very soft. The soft one really I use when I've finished doing a hat and it's just to finish it off, or once I've used a hat for daily use. And if I were to take this one, for instance, take it off, this is a beaver and rabbit fur felt. I'm just running around the brim. See, it's got a roundness to it. Well, that enables you to go around the brim on a hat. It's really cool that somebody's actually thought that through. And then just anti-clockwise always, because anti-clockwise is the way that the felt actually falls, the fur. So there we are. That's nice, and yeah, that's made it smart for camera. There we are. Hopefully that's on straight. And right, let's get back to this. And we're going to start off. I was going to use the stiff one, but given that this is only a 50 grams, I'm going to use the medium one so that it's not too harsh on the felts. So I'm not expecting, you know, lots and lots of dust to come out of this, because it does look as though it's in a very nice condition. So I just run it around like this, and it's always nice to be able to turn the thing around. I do have a pole on one of my boards here that I actually can turn around this. I haven't bothered to get it out actually for this particular hat. And then down the bottom, just run it through. There we go. I just see a loose end there before I forget. Let's just cut that off. Yeah, these are great, these little scissors, for getting in there and just nipping off the little tiny bits of, oh, that's come away anyway, of cotton. So I find, because I work in such a small space, I've got to take things out and put things back in. One, I don't know where they are, and two, I don't have any workspace left. So let's again turn it over, and we're just going to run it around here. There we go. Lovely. Right, that's probably sufficient. Now I'm going to take it off the block and give it a bit of a steaming. And just so that you know, on this particular type of Borsalino, it has no liner, and that's because it's the light felt and it folds up into your pocket and so on and so forth. But this is a current felt and current hat, and they sell them for £450. Can you believe that? It's a lot of money for a hat, isn't it? Especially when it's only 50 grams in weight. But there you go. Right, let's move on. I'm just going to pull out this wind cord just to put it back around the hat. Now, if some of you haven't seen or thought, what does a wind cord do? Well, a wind cord is what they, nowadays it's much more for show more than anything else. But many years ago, the wind cord, you used to put the hat on your head, the wind cord would come off, and if you can recall, in a suit jacket, you might have a little slot there for what used to be a buttonhole in years gone by, and also for the little button that's on the end of the wind cord would go through there and just go back on itself. And if your hat came off in the wind, it wouldn't go tumbling down the road. So, as I say, more for show these days rather than for actual working wind cord. Anyway, let's put some steam on this and see what happens, shall we? So, always test your steam, make sure there's no water coming out, otherwise you get a wet hat. Right, and always make sure that when you're steaming, you're conscious as to where the steam is so that you don't burn your hand. Tell me about it, I've done it a few times. Right, okay, so here we go. Nice little bit of steam in there. We'll go around the brim as well. There we are, and inside. Always like to do the inside, it freshens it up nicely. You may have seen when I showed you the inside that this one's got a cloth inside. So I have a look at the cloth inside, and this one is very good, and I've actually run around it before. But what I do have is, do you know that sort of whitener stroke stain remover that you might put into your washing machine? Let's be honest, I don't do that very often. I've got a very nice wife that does that. But she uses this stain remover. So a little bit of stain remover into a pot, some hot water, dissolve it all, and then just put it on a rag and you can wipe it around. But that's when you get to extreme sort of perspiration on there, which is not very often, unless you've got a Panama hat. Funny enough, it's the Panama hats, because people wear Panamas in the sun, that get more staining than these lovely felts. Anyway, you can see some shape already coming back into the hat, can't you? So let's go around and put on the top here. Now, this Borsalino, where's the back? There's the back there. It would have had a centre fold, so we're just going down the middle there with our two thumbs. You see, very nice fold there, and then just pinch the front. There we are. There's a nice pinch in the front. Look at that. Well, that's just a little bit too much. There we are. So that's typically how it's going to look, and then you can fold. Now, there's no snap, as it were, as in a snap that you can hear on this hat, but there is a turn down that you can achieve just like that, and you've got to turn up on the back. So a very nice hat in what I would say is a green, not quite a mint green, but a green, and yeah, it's going to be ready for its next owner, and size 59. It'll be on the website shortly. Thanks.
If you've got a passion for hats, keep watching the channel. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.